Hello, everybody. Tina Hogan Grant here with my regular Cuppa A Natter, which I do every other Monday. I like to bring authors into my home, and we talk about books. We talk about writing. We talk about what we're working on, whatever comes to mind. And in the beginning, I like to do a shameless plug before we get going. My name, again, is Tina Hogan Grant. I do write romances, women's fiction, and right now I have on sale the ebook Slater, which is book one in the Sabella series. It's a steamy suspense romance, and it's on sale right now for 99 cents. That's the ebook. So that's my shameless plug for this evening. And we have Mandy Haynes joining us this evening. How are you, Mandy?
I'm great, Tina. Thanks for doing this. This is fun. We had fun already.
I know we've been laughing behind the scenes before you got here. See you in the group. We exchange hellos, and now I finally get to see you. So
yeah.
Okay. You froze there for a minute. Anyways, but I'm so excited to talk to you. Are you seeing me?
Yeah. If I close Facebook, will it close StreamYard?
Yeah, just have this one window. No, just close whatever tabs you have open. Close them all, but StreamYard.
I want to have his Facebook. Okay. Maybe that'll help.
There you go. That'll speed you up a little bit. There you go. All right. So, Mandy, we'll start over. How are you?
I'm great.
I'm so excited to talk to you. We've got a few people here this evening that did you click on comments?
I did.
Wow. Here we got Patty. She says hello. And B and Jennifer Bowser is here. Sherry Barron is here. Lori Chasco. They're all saying hi. Karen Wright. I see one Facebook user. That means you're in my group. And you need to click on the blue link above the video. And that will give Facebook, StreamYard permission to see your name because you're in a private group. So I do want to let you know, Virgie is here. If you have questions for Mandy while we're chatting, go ahead and put them in the comments. I will try to get to as many as I can. I'll put them up on the screen. But any questions you have for Mandy, we're going to talk about her book. Before we begin, Mandy, let's talk about Mandy. Where is Mandy from, and where is she living now?
Well, I am from Tennessee, from Middle Tennessee, a little town you probably had never heard of. It's Greenbrier, but I've lived in East Nashville for the last few years of my time there. But 4 years ago, I just decided to change everything and quit my job of 26 years, put my house on the market. When it sold, I gave everything that wouldn't fit in my van away and just ran away.
You went by yourself?
I have me and my 3 dogs.
Wow. And how is it working out in Florida?
I love it. So I was going to try, because I've never really traveled, you know. I got married really young, and I have a wonderful son, and it's no regrets. But, I just never really did it. Yeah. So I was going to do like John Steinbeck in my mind. I thought, I'll travel the East Coast. But I have 3 dogs, and he had one. He had a standard poodle. I have 3 terriers.
Oh, wow. Oh, terriers are high.
And I have a little Jack Russell Pearl. She's like, do you?
I do, Miss Ellie. Yes.
Oh, how old?
Oh, she's about 12 now.
Little Pearl's about 10.
Okay, I had another Jack Russell before hers, and she lived till 19.
Okay, my parents had a little Jack Russell named Fred, and he lived to be 18.
Oh, see, these young little dogs, they'll live a long time. But they are very, what's the word I want to think of? They're very, they stay with you. They're very, what's the word I'm thinking of?
Oh, she's my stick tight. I call her my stick tight.
Yeah, there you go, the shadow.
Yeah. She is like right at my heel. Like, I don't care if I'm going to the bathroom or if I'm going to get a cup of coffee or she is like, she's right at my ankle. Her nose is at my ankle. Like, no matter where I'm at.
Yeah, they're great dogs. They have no fear whatsoever. Absolutely no fear.
No, she has no fear. No. Which is good and bad.
Well, I'm glad it worked out. I mean, to just pack up and leave, and you've never been to Florida before. This is your first time there when you.
Well, I had been to Florida. Like okay, so when I say never traveled, well, we did take family vacations to Florida. Everybody in Tennessee went to Florida, but we would go to the Gulf, Gulf Shores, you know, or on that side, Destin. So I can't say I've never, and I did go to Alaska once, which was, that to me was like going to another country. That's really was like.
Me and my husband want to go is Alaska. We really want to go see Alaska.
Okay, well, I did love it. I didn't really, I went with a person that if I'd gone by myself, I would have really enjoyed it. And I just wanted to go back. So, I mean, I traveled just tiny, not really, you know. But yeah, just to leave, you know, sell my house and stuff, like, and my job, like, and I just wanted to write. I was 48 and I said, you know, I wanted a book in my hand, a published book in my hand by the time I turned 50. And, you know, time was running out, and I worked in the medical field. I did cardiac ultrasound for the children's hospital. So it, you know, it was really stressful. And anyway, I don't know. I thought if I don't do it now, I'm not going to do it. And I ended up buying a house that I had to remodel. It still needs a lot of work. I call it the shipwreck. And I published 2 collections of short stories, and I have a job as a freelancer here. I write for a magazine here.
Everything worked out. That's wonderful.
It did. It's weird. It's like a Hallmark movie, kind of.
I love it.
Not really Hallmark. Do what?
You should write a book about it.
Well, you know, I've had a lot of people ask me, you know, when are you going to write a memoir? And I'm planning on it, because it's, well, a lot of my stories that are fiction have a lot of truth to them. And, you know, just those alone, I've had people reach out to me and tell me how much they connect with the characters and how much they've helped them, you know, with stuff like, well, you know, I mean, I write about some kind of heavy subjects, but also with some humor. So I don't know. I think my memoir, it might help a few people.
Yeah,
it would help me to write it.
My first 2 books are based on my life, and they help a lot of people. They really do. It shows, you know, finding yourself in a rut and pulling yourself out. You've book 1, Reckless Beginnings, and, you know, reaching out to people that you don't have to, you know, settle, and you can make changes in your life. And from there stem the other 2 books, and they all have strong messages. You know,
I haven't read your books yet, but Reckless Beginnings, I've done some research. But I've got it to be read list that's like 2 miles high with the Pulpwood Queens, because
I know. I wish I had more time to read. I really do. I haven't read your book either, so I'm just as guilty. So.
Well, I thought that would be, you know, I thought you, because how would you? How could you? But I did see, because I thought, okay, so you write romance, and then I was like, hold on a second. I read about Reckless. I read into that, you know, I read the description, and it's like, that's not so much like a fluffy romantic.
When I was waiting for the editor on Better Endings, I had some time to kill. Okay, I'm going to just write 1 book. It always goes on a steamy suspense romance, something I just wanted to write. Well, that 1 book is now turning into 5. So.
Wow. So you've 7? Have you published 7?
I've got the Tammy Mello series, which is the one based on my life, is 3 books. And then the Sabella series will be a total of 5 books when I'm done. The 4th book comes out in August, and I'm writing book 5 right now. So when Jill comes out in August, I'll have 7 books out.
Wow.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
So, thank you. But we're going to talk about your book. Let me see. Okay, let me just say hello to a few more people that will come on. I do want to make sure the readers know we're acknowledging them. We've got Era Lee here. Here's a question for you. She's asking, who is your favorite author? Narrow it down to 1.
Okay, if I had to narrow it down to 1, he is nonfiction, but he's Rick Bragg.
Okay, I don't know him. What kind of does he? What does he write about?
Very Southern, and my very first book that I read of his was Ava's Man, and Ava's Man. Okay, Ava was his grandmother. Ava's man was Charlie Buttram. That was his grandfather. Oh, it gives me chill bumps. Listen, I read this a long time ago, and it's actually the first one that he wrote was All Over But the Shouting. That was about his mama. His mama was the main, in that. And then he wrote Ava's Man about his granddaddy, and it starts Ava's Man, and it's not exactly word for word, but it starts out where he had always wanted to know about his grandfather. But nobody talked about him, and he thought that maybe that the family was a little embarrassed or ashamed because he had quit school at 3rd grade, and he'd worked like hard labor. He made moonshine. He got into a little trouble, but he loved his wife and he loved his kids. And it was, I can't remember how many years after his grandfather died that one of his aunts looked at him and said, "Okay, it's time to talk about your grandfather." And so he's worried that it's going to be something bad. And then when they start talking, he realizes the reason it took them so long is because they loved him so much.
Aww.
And they weren't able to talk about him because it hurt so bad. I know. It's like,
Is this a memoir about him? Was it a memoir?
Yeah. So he wrote All Over But the Shouting about his mama, who anytime if he's ever at any book festival or anything that y'all are around, anybody out there, you should just go hear him because he is one of the best speakers I've ever heard. He doesn't read, from a script or anything. And he just talks about his mama. So somebody walk by.
One of those.
He just talks about his mama and about what's going on. He writes for Southern Living. He had like a article at the end of Southern Living all the time, like funny Guns and Gun Garden. He writes for everybody. He was a journalist. Yeah. But All Over But the Shouting, Ava's Man, and Prince of Frogtown, because then he had to write about his daddy.
So you got the whole family. Got the whole family.
Yeah.
Your book. Let's see the cover. I love the cover of your book. I love the red hair. I wonder why, but I love the red hair.
It's just like yours. Look at that.
I love it. For me, what is that title?
It's Sharp as a Serpent's Tooth, Eva and Other Stories.
There we go. What's that title? It's backwards. There we go. Sharp is a serpent.
Oh, sorry.
Sharp is a serpent.
Sharp as a tooth.
Okay.
Eva and Other Stories.
I love the cover. Did you design that cover?
Do you know I actually did. I had a person, and it's a lady, Rhonda Locke. Rhonda. She is a great graphic designer, and I hired her to do the covers on both my books. And I ended up using the things that I sent her to go from. I mean, she took them and made them all work. She made it work. Right. But
no, I love that. It really stands out.
Thanks.
It really stands out. Now, this is the collection of short stories, correct?
Yes.
It's a short stories, and it came out what year?
This one came out last year.
Now, is this your only book, or you have other books?
I have one more. It came out the year before, Walking the Wrong Way Home, another collection of short stories.
Okay, because I only found, there's one thing I noticed. You don't have an author page on Amazon.
I do.
You do? Because it didn't come up. I clicked on your name and it wouldn't come up.
Well, I need to look because
I like to look at your bio just so I get a little background on you before we go live. But you'll have to fill me in.
I'll have to look and see what's going on.
Yeah, I couldn't get it to come up, but the other one I didn't come across it. Let me see the other one again. I'm sorry. Let's see the other one. Walking the Way Home. That's a nice cover too.
It's Walking the Wrong Way Home.
See, I need my glasses.
Well, it's kind of light. This light that they say you need. It's like it's blinding and like you can't see anything.
That's the collection of stories too. So, the short stories, are they based on actual events in your life or other people you know, or are they just all fiction from your head?
There is a little bit of me in almost every story. Mm-hmm. And almost every one. There's 16 stories in the first, and I think there's like 2 almost novellas. There's only 5 stories or 6 stories in Serpents. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5. There's almost novellas in here. But yeah, there's just a little bit of me in all of them, or people I know.
And what genre would you put them in?
Genre, that's such a weird thing. It's literary fiction, Southern literary fiction. It's when I first started writing, first couple stories that were published in different little things, and I was at a party, and that's when 50 Shades of Grey came out, and everybody was talking about that book. And so, I'm just like, whatever, I got a beer and I'm standing over there, and people, like this group of women, they were all excited when a friend said, oh, maybe some author, she just had a story published, and they were all reading that book, and they were like, so what do you write? And I thought, I write stories about just everyday people. And
yeah. It's hard.
So boring.
Well, no, not really. I mean, with mine, when I just got the rights back for Reckless Beginnings, and I told them it's based on it's fiction, but based on true events. I didn't want to write it as a memoir. I didn't want it to read like a memoir. I wanted to read it like a story. And they put it in nonfiction. I'm like, I told you it was not a memoir. And it could never be removed for the 3 years that it was with the publisher.
Oh.
It's in the totally wrong genre. I'm like, really? But anyway, so I'm glad I got the rights back, and now it's in the right genre, which is women's fiction, coming of age, and young adult, which is, what it should have been in the beginning, but
not nonfiction.
Yeah, they put it in nonfiction, and it was in Barnes and Nobles, and it was under parenting. I'm like,
that's so goofy.
And I'm like, really? But, that's one of the reasons why I wanted to get the rights back, because I had no control of the book. And when I told them you put it in the wrong genre, they go, oh, well, we can't change it now. I'm like,
and they could have changed it.
Could have, but
they could have changed it.
But they didn't do anything about it, so I just left it alone. But I go to Barnes and Nobles, and I can't find my book. I'm like, where's my book?
Parenting.
Parenting. I'm like, really?
Oh my gosh, what's so funny? It's like, and Sharp's Eva. It's so, this cover, it's Eva. This is Eva.
I like the description of Eva. I laughed when I read her, and I'm going to read the description, to our readers. But that's the one part that just stuck out, and I laughed how you described her. So it's really good. I just, there's one sentence in there that just like, yeah, that's perfect. That's perfect. And I can't remember it, but when I get to it, the readers will know. There's a couple of questions here I saw that I wanted to get to. Of course, now I have to. Oh, what I wanted to ask you. So you said you wanted to have a book published before you were 50. Did you make that goal?
I did.
You did?
I did. Walking the Wrong Way Home came out like it was like right before my 50th birthday. I had this plan.
And have you always wanted to write? I mean, for years, have you wanted to be an author? Is it something that you just wanted to do?
Yeah, it's funny, like when I was a little kid, it's like I love to read. I was really lucky. I had a sister 2 years older, and so when my mother was teaching her how to read, I just was always right there. So I learned how, without even realizing that I was doing it. So I learned how to read before kindergarten.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I mean, and it's, when you say it seems so weird, but it's like, it's because I was sitting at the table, when my sister was, and I would want to do everything she was doing at that time. And, but Miss Twiggly's tree, and it's funny, Miss Twiggly lived in a tree with a dog named Puss and a color TV. She did what she liked. She liked what she did. And when company came, Miss Twiggly hid. And it's like, that was my favorite book. And it's weird how my life has kind of turned out. I am Miss Twiggly, but I don't live in a tree, but I'm so much like Miss Twiggly. But I would carry that book around, and I thought, I want my name on this. I want my name on a book. Like, I want when somebody is reading a story, I want them to love it as much as I love that book. And I wanted it to be my name on there.
And you did it. How long did it take you to write?
Well, it's so a lot of these stories, okay, and I never thought I was going to write short stories.
Okay.
I was working on a novel, which is in the first draft. And, it's funny. Okay, so I really never thought I was ever going to be able to be a writer, because I dropped out of high school at 15, and I never had any, you see all the awards and the, the little, the little initials after everybody's names. And I'm like, and I actually was dating a fella that said, oh, it's real nice. You know, it's nice you want to write and all, doll, but who would publish you? You've never been, didn't even finish high school.
That's not encouraging.
Oh, no, he didn't last long.
Jeez. Yeah, I can see why.
But, so I just kind of stumbled into this little writers group, and there was a bunch of older people that were really just so cool at this coffee shop, and they were like, sit down, and I just love stories, and it's like they were just adorable. Like every single one of them, you knew they had a story, and they were doing these little writing exercises. So I just sat down with them. I was with my cousin, and we did them and had fun. And then it was like, this is just so much fun. I went back the next week, and I'd written a little poem, which I don't even really write poems, but that was kind of what they were doing. So we did it, and they were like, you've got to meet Elkin. They kept saying, you got to meet Elkin, you got to meet Elkin. And at that coffee shop, they would have like open mic night. So music, musicians would come in and play and stuff. It was in Lebanon, Tennessee.
Okay.
So my cousin lived out there, so I'd go visit her. And then they kept saying, you got to meet Elkin, you got to meet Elkin. And then this little guy walks in, and they never said anything else about him. This little guy walks in, he had on yellow Chuck Taylors, tie-dyed socks, a little Rastafarian hat, carrying a guitar with his turquoise rings and his wedding band. And I was like, his long, like, walrus mustache. And I was like, that's Elkin, right? That's got to be Elkin. Well, it was. And so they gave him some of my writing, and he loved it. He was an English professor at Ball State.
Oh.
So he taught me into writing more, and I was working on a novel, and I brought in a chapter of the novel to read at this little thing, and he submitted it to a contest. And I was like, thinking he was crazy. It won first place. It's actually in Sharp as a Serpent's Tooth, and it's the chapter from my novel. And so then, I'm sorry, but when it won, I love short stories, and I was like, I just wanted to write short stories because I thought it was so much fun to win, of course.
Congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
That is so cool. Denise is here. She says, awesome book. And then I see Linda's here. Judy is here. Lori says, Eve and Tammy are twins, kind of. Okay, Lori, they're my two books. Here's a question for you from Jennifer. She's asked, how do you go from the reader to the writer's mindset? Interesting question.
It is. And it's like, if I don't think about that, it's like, oh, it's easy because I love to read and write. But if you think about it, it does get, it is kind of hard.
You have to switch. You do. And I also find that I read books different too since I started writing. I actually take longer to read, number one, because I read slower. And I have this habit of if something really grabs my attention, like a paragraph, I'll reread it because I want to know. I have to read it out loud. Yeah, and I want to know why it grabbed my attention. If, before I would just read the story and, oh, that's a great book. I love the book, blah, 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 blah. But I actually go with a fine toothpick when I'm reading a book. And things that I don't like, I'll say to myself, why didn't I like that? Why didn't I stick with me? And then I'll find myself like, if I'm skimming pages, which I hate to do, but a paragraph I'll skim. Why did I skim that paragraph? Is it because I already read that part earlier in the book? Or do I not need that information? Little things like that. And it just kind of little habits that I have when I read a book.
Well, and it's funny because it is true that writers have to be readers. If you don't read, you cannot be a good writer. I mean, it doesn't work that way.
I just wish I had, like you, we have, a to-read list that is, I'm never going to go through. And I keep buying books, even though I have plenty to read.
Well, you can't help it. You can't help it.
No, I bumped it. Well, I live in a small little town here. And I was at the market, and I'm starting to see people I hadn't seen because of COVID. People are starting to come out of their homes or whatever, and we're not wearing masks. Oh, I know you.
Yeah. Like, oh my gosh, you haven't changed very much.
Yeah, and our library is finally open, which I've missed, but they're having a book sale at the library. I'm like, oh my God, you shouldn't have told me that. I haven't been to a book sale in so long. Dangerous, dangerous, dangerous.
Yeah, it is dangerous. And I was a bookseller for just a little bit, which I thought was my dream job. And leaving medical and working at a bookstore, people were like, Mandy, you're crazy. You're not going to have any money. Well, I don't have any money, but I loved it.
Yeah, exactly. And I always dreamed when I was younger to own a bookstore and a coffee shop. I thought that would just be, I would love to do that. I would.
Okay, I did too. And a bookstore and a coffee shop, and I love to knit and crochet and have just a ball of yarn. And so when people come in, they're waiting on their coffee, they're sitting down to read, or they're waiting.
I love puzzles. I can have puzzles in there. I love jigsaw puzzles, any kind of puzzles. They could come in and sit and do jigsaw puzzles.
Oh, that'd be fun. But I think a scarf that everybody worked on, and then when it's long enough to where it's a scarf, you tie it off and hang it up outside for somebody that needs it. It's just been my little dream.
We have a restaurant here in town, owned by, a couple, they're a great couple, but they have in the winter, people donate hats and scarves, and they peg them to the fence. And you just take them if you call, you come to the restaurant, you didn't have any gloves or for whatever reason, go grab them. And residents up here just hang them on the fence and put them in baggies like Ziplocs. I love it.
I loved it. When I lived in Tennessee, I would cut through to go to work, and I'd cut through because I was always running late because I didn't ever want to go in. And so I was always running late because I'd be writing till the last minute. So I'd cut through, and there was like a little group of homeless guys out there, and I would see them on 14th and Grundy was where it was, and they got to where they'd see me in the morning, like because we saw them every day, and I'd be like, hey, because they knew I was running late. So when it was cold, people that worked, like a lady was cleaning out her closet, and she said, I'm going to take some stuff to Goodwill, and I said, give it to me, bring it into work. So I had a Escape at that time, and I just kept it full of coats and socks and gloves and like stuff that people would give, and I called it warm bombing because I never had time to sit. So I'd slow down. I'd put everything in little bags with a bottle of water and granola bars and stuff like that, and it was a fun thing. Like I would slow down and just boom, throw them out, and they'd catch it. It was like they'd laugh. These guys were hilarious. We called it warm bombing. Warm bomb. Me and my little sister would warm bomb people. Oh, shoot. Oh, no. Okay, let's see. I thought it was me.
I don't know what's going on. That's what happens when you go live. I'm sorry.
I was like, well, let me just read some of these things. It's like, that's a lot of there's a lot over there.
Well, technology will get the better of me all the time. It really does. I'm so sorry. But that's the one of the risks you do when you go live. But I'm back. We're here. Continue on.
Quick.
Thank God. Let me see. I saw some questions. Let's hold up your cover again while I'm looking for some questions. For those that have just come, I'm talking to Mandy Haynes. This is one of her books. Sharp is a serpent tooth. Read the rest for me.
Sharp is a serpent's tooth, Eva and Other Stories.
Okay, there we go. And it's a collection of short stories. And I keep telling her how I love the cover. I love the red hair. You can understand why. It really stands out. I mean, the cover just grabs you. And you are self-published, correct?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, you have a question here from Lori. She's asking, what do you do on your downtime? When you're not writing, what do you do?
Okay, when I'm not writing, I just started a magazine, Reading Nation magazine, that features Pulpwood Queen and Timber Guy authors. But it's open to any readers because because I'm executive director of the Pulpwood Queens. Kathy Murphy is the Pulpwood Queen. Yeah, so over Girlfriend Weekend, I volunteered to help her, and she asked if I would, want to be. It seems so funny as executive director, whatever. I just helped her, and I thought this is a great way to promote our authors, and it's been fun. But I make Nuno felt. I like to felt. I don't know if anybody knows what that is. Scarves and wall hangings, and I make jewelry. I like to do a little coppersmithing, and I can't sit still. My poor sister, I started crocheting her it was a cool wide, like kind of like a scarf, but like a cape with pockets. And I was like, oh, I almost got finished. And then I just got bored doing that. And now it's hot in Tennessee. So she'll have it next winter.
Now you said you're a freelance writer. So you write every day, obviously.
Yes.
For your work.
Yeah.
Now, do you write every day on your books? Do you write every day for your books?
Not as much as I want to, but I'm not an author that can write. I can only write for my fiction, for my stuff, when I'm in the mood. Like, I know that there are a lot of authors that say, you have to sit down and write every day. And a lot, and it's like, whether it's good or bad, put words on the page.
Yeah.
I just don't work that way. Like, if I am, but it's funny because I'm always writing, even when I'm not, because when I'm felting or doing other things, I'm working on the story. And I'm the kind of writer that I can't sit down and put it on the page until I've done all that work in my head. So I'm always writing.
Right. We got to do what works for you. Because Leisha Haynes, she has a question about writing right here. She said, did you come up with the book titles after you wrote the book or before you wrote them? Did you have the title?
No, I was about halfway finished on both of them. And then it just came to me, like Walking the Wrong Way Home is a line from Elma and Roy, the first story in this. Elma, it's her 63rd birthday. She's married to a guy she's been married to him since she was young. She's raised 3 kids. She's had a horrible, it's like, just been treated awful. It's her birthday. And her employer had given her some money for her birthday. She was walking home. She gave her the day off early, but she was thinking about how her life just has not been anything like what she wanted. And then she's like, beating herself up, like, it's your own fault. You raised the kids. That's why they're so spoiled. And they treat, it's your own fault. So she's all in this, that she was walking towards town instead of walking home.
Oh, wow.
She was like, I was walking the wrong way home. But what happens when she gets into town, she realizes now that she was walking the right way. So that's where Walking the Wrong Way Home came from. And then Sharp as a Serpent's Tooth is, there's a snake in every story.
I'm not fond of snakes.
Well, I saw that you said that. But I saw that you said it. But there's a Bible passage, I'm not very religious, but I did really like this where be wise as serpents and innocent as doves. And so it says all female protagonists in this, they are all innocent females, and like from 9 years old to 93, I think the characters, the ages range. But they are sharp as serpents, every single one of them. So Sharp as a Serpent's Tooth. That's where that came from. Are you frozen because of the snakes, or did the
okay.
Do it?
I don't. You know what? It's windy outside, and I'm wondering if that's affecting my internet. It's windy outside. I'm wondering if that's affecting it, but it gets frustrating. Usually, it's really good. I don't have a problem, but let's bear with it. I'm sorry, guys. I'm back, but it's just frustrating. There was another question for you I wanted to get up, if I can find it real quick. And then I want to read the description of the book, as long as I don't get kicked off. Here it is, right here from Donna. Do you have a routine for your writing, and where is your favorite spot to write?
It's so funny. My favorite spot is in my office. And it's been like, even though this is a different office than what I had in Tennessee, it's just a little tiny room. And I'm not even really comfortable. It's not like my desk is piled up with stuff, but it's familiar. Like, this is all of my stuff, you know, like notebooks and papers piled up and pens falling on the floor. But it's really cozy to me. I'm not somebody that can go to a coffee shop. I get distracted. I love to people watch. ADHD kicks in, and it's like I just want to hear everybody's story, and I don't. So
I can't write in a coffee shop. I do need peace and quiet to write, but I have different places in my house. You know, one day it might be out on the grass if it's a nice day. Another time it might be up in my, up there. If you can see it, that's another place where I like to write.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that's my little. I call it the cave.
See, that would be a perfect. Like, I like little cozy spots when I'm writing. Now, I do. The outside is pretty. There's like live oaks here with the Spanish moss, and my yard's a mess right now. But I do like to sit out there when I'm editing. Like, after the writing part's done, and I'm reading it and rewriting it. I do like to sit outside for that.
Yeah, I go to have peace and quiet. Are you working on something right now? Another book?
Okay, so I pulled my novel that's in first draft back out because I love it. And I have another novel that's about halfway through, and I like that story too. They've been calling me, but I've also started a third collection of short stories because I got a little bit of feedback from a guy who read both my books, and he said, and it's not true because I've got some good men in these. I do have some good men. Jimmy is a great one. Ernie, like they're not all bad. Willie and Hattie, they're not all bad guys, but he did have a point to where a lot of the men are not that good. So I thought I'm going to pull all of my guys out of my short story and give them the side characters in the stories, and give them their own stories and do. So it's William and Other Stories is a collection I'm working on that's all male protagonists.
Do you have a release?
No.
When you get done.
Yeah, when I get done. Well, I started this magazine, and it's been fun. And then I got the freelance job. I had my first cover story, which that was a lot of work for something that you're just doing and then it's gone. It's like once the magazine comes out, it's gone. And I have like 2 articles that come it's one article with 2 stories every month. That's not a big deal to write, but I've gotten a cover story. I'm doing another cover story in August. And I did a wedding story, which I've been married 3 times, never had a wedding. I'm like, when my editor asked me, I was like, I might not be the person that you want, but it worked out. It was fun. So stuff like that. So I haven't had time to write on, my stuff. But
right. I love it. Let me read the description. I'm going to read it on my cell phone. Of your book, the collection of short stories. Let me see the cover one more time for the people that know what I'm going to read from. This is a collection of short stories, and I'm going to read the description. I guess you have a description of each 4 stories. So I will go ahead and read them. The first one is you'll meet Eva, the young daughter of traveling Pentecostal preachers who catches snakes while her parents hide behind the Bible and a large wooden crate. Eva's life is her first more life than fear. So that's the first.
I don't know if it's me or.
This is getting on my nerves.
I love your accent.
Oh my God. I looked up and it's frozen. I'm like, oh. I had said a few more words than that though. So we try this one more time. Did you even get me reading Eva or no?
You got to the end of Eva.
Okay. So the next one, in Plains for Sweet Lorraine. You'll meet Lorraine's mama, Cordelia, this is the one. A fiery redhead with a temper to match, and this is what the part I like, and a mind as sharp as the sting from a leather strap. I love that. That's
Well,
beautiful.
that ties into the story.
I
Woo,
love
you don't want to mess with Cordelia.
She'll do anything to keep her daughter safe, even if she has to beat the devil himself. The next one is Laurel. Laurel, the young girl in the day I threw the rock, has no idea that she saved someone's life or that she may have killed someone to do it. She just knows that she should be allowed to wear overalls and play ball like the boys. Well, ain't it the truth that she can throw a baseball harder and faster than Luke or John Randall, just as Sarah, Rose's uncle? Junebug Fisher is the last story, correct?
Well, no, there's one more after Junebug.
Is ready to set the record straight and let you know what's really happened the summer she turned 15. It's true. She killed someone, but she never killed nobody on purpose. That was purely accidental. When Charlotte's world is turned upside down, her aunt is there to put it back on its axis. Charlotte learns that everything she's been told about her long-lost aunt has been a lie. And her aunt teaches her many important lessons. The most important lesson is forgiveness. Cussing snakes and candy, cigarettes is proof that there's magic all around us. All we have to do is open our hearts and minds. Yeah. I like it. I like it. But I like the redhead description.
Yeah. Well, there's a redhead in every story.
Oh, is there a reason why you picked the redhead?
I have a lot of redheaded cousins. I grew up, it's like I look like my dad's side of the family. I got really dark, which is so funny, all this gray. It's like I can't, it's weird. I don't look in the mirror very much just to brush my teeth here lately, because you're not going anywhere. It's like pulling your hair back. It's like, dang, hair used to be black. But it's like it's not black anymore. I have a lot of redheaded cousins, and I loved them. I still call them, my cousin Stephanie, I still call her Red. That's the nickname.
That was mine. That was my nickname, Red. Mm-hmm.
And I just love it. And I had friends in school that had red hair that I just loved it. Like I wanted red hair. When I was real little, I cried. And what's so funny, when my son was like 3 years old, I babysat a little girl named Laura. They were friends of ours. Their little girl, Laura, and she was a couple years older than Justin. She had freckles and red hair. She was so stinking cute. My son at 3 years old cried because he did not have freckles and red hair. He called them freckles. And I thought, I cried when I was 3 because I wanted red hair and freckles. I don't know why. I don't know. It was passed down to him.
Is it Irish?
It is funny because almost. I actually did a DNA test because I have been told my whole life that I'm Cherokee.
Cherokee.
Well, I did the DNA test. My aunt said, Mandy, you're Black Irish, the Spanish and the Irish. And I was like, I was never, growing up. I am like 97% Irish, which we just laugh, but it makes sense because all of my redheaded cousins.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I asked, because of the red hair. My dad's Irish. That's why I get this, because my dad's Irish and my grandfather's Irish, and my dad lived in Ireland. He lived in Sligo.
Ah.
And it's so funny, when I went to Ireland about 10 years ago, I was going there, taking my dad's estate, but I was meeting people that I had never met before. And I said, well, I have red hair, just, look for the red head. Well, I get to the airport in Ireland, everyone has red hair. Okay, that didn't go too well.
Oh, funny.
Oh, Lord. Oh, dear. Let me see. Hold on. I saw another question here. I wanted to get to you. 1 second. Hold on. Give me a second. What's this one? This is from Denise. Mandy, what has been the most surprising or exciting thing to you about your writing career? That's a good question.
Oh, okay. I've been really lucky, and there have been so many really good things, but I have to say, so when I left Tennessee, I didn't tell you that part of the reason that I left, my son and I had gotten into this horrible, stupid argument 6 years before I left. And he hadn't talked to me in 6 years when I was still in Tennessee. And we were really close. Like he's the only child I had. We were really close. He got married, he graduated college and got married, and they had their first child. I mean, he's grown up. He was an adult. It's like I knew that we weren't going to be as close. We didn't need to be as, and so I think I maybe acted. I don't know. I think maybe his wife maybe thought maybe I didn't want to be a part of their life, but I didn't want to be a hover. It's like whatever. Anyway, for whatever reason, I'm still not sure. And I've talked. 6 years, nothing. I had my first grandbaby was 4 months old, and I didn't see him. They had 2 more grandbabies, and I didn't even see them. And we lived still close, so it was really, really hard. And I won't even go into it, but it just almost it almost killed me. It hurt so bad. And I just kept waiting, and it's like 6 years. Kind of, I realized that. I'm just sitting here waiting, wasting my, waiting for something to happen that, might not happen. Some of my patients that I just loved passed, which, because we were, heart transplant center, we had really good results, but still we had a lot of patients. So some of them, in very complex congenital heart defects, it's just really hard that last year. It's like I lost some people I really loved.
Right.
I knew, and I was like waiting for and that's when I just thought because when I say, I left, it all sounds so happy, but it's like there was some stuff. Yeah. Anyway, I came here, published my book. I went to Tennessee for my first book event. By then it had been 2 more years. So 8 years I hadn't talked to my son. We talked once on the phone when I left Tennessee. I called him and I said, I want to talk to you. And I think he thought maybe I was going to tell me I had cancer or something. And we actually talked, and it was a great conversation. Weird, like nothing had ever happened, but that was it. One phone call. So I came here. When I went to Tennessee for a book event, I had texted him, that I was having it, but we weren't, he never answered. He walked in with my grandbabies. He walked in with his wife and my 3 grandkids came to my book event. So that has been the most exciting thing. And as I was signing books, and I'd already done the talk, the reading, and I was signing books, and it's like I felt him. And I looked across the library, and he was walking in the door, and we just hugged and talked, and they came to the after party. I went to see their new house. It's like it just, nothing ever happened. We just picked right back up. And that was because of this, It was because
I'm so happy to hear you guys.
So, anyway, it's the most exciting thing. I know that's not really what.
No, but I'm saying thank you for sharing that. That must have been really hard. That must have been a really hard time in your life, So, B's asking, what type of music and book genres do you enjoy?
Ooh, okay. Type of music. I have to say my favorite is Americana.
Okay.
Americana. I'm not really country.
I like country.
Well, it has to be good country.
Oh yeah, I agree.
It has to be good country, like John Prine. Love me some John Prine. Good songwriting. I like the lyrics. Okay. So Americana is kind of fun, folky. And literary fiction, which it sounds so boring, but I just love stories about real people's life. I have read some, fantasy stuff that I like. It's not that I don't like other stuff. Not like romance. Well, I can't say that either because I have read some that I like. And yours, it's so funny because it's you have steamy romance, but then when I was reading the description of your books, I'm like, hold on a second. This is not all not just all.
There's drama in there, and I put emotions and suspense in there too, and twists at the end. A lot of them have a twist, So, oh yeah, it's more than just kissy and love.
And the eyelashes, all the Twitter. I'm like, come on now. Give me some.
Okay. Karen's asking, what are your hobbies? We did cover that one with you. You have a lot of interest. One thing I do want to do, and I never got on to do, I did a little bit of crocheting. Do you do crocheting or knitting?
I love to crochet. I'm better at crochet than I am at knitting.
See, the knitting I cannot do, period. I tried the knitting, and I would start with 25 stitches or whatever, and then end up with 80. I kept adding stitches, and I have no idea what I was doing.
I would drop stitches. So I'd start out with a piece like this, and then I'd end up like this, and I'm like, what am I going to do with that? What is it?
Yeah, but
it's
I did
a triangle.
Crocheting. With the crochet, I could never follow a pattern, though. I look at patterns, and I'm like, huh?
It's too hard. You know what? Okay, so my aunt, when I was 15, my aunt taught me how to do a granny square. And sitting on the sofa with her, oh, granny squares are fun. And they're like old vintage looking. And they're just like double crochet in clusters.
Yeah,
You'll like it.
And that was it. I just kept going with blankets until it was big enough, and I was done.
YouTube video, because watching my Aunt Helen's hands, then trying to read a pattern, it's like I can't. But YouTube videos are wonderful. There's so many people because you can stop it
and pause it and look.
And then rewind if you miss something. Like, what did they do? You can just rewind it. Like, I love YouTube videos for knitting and crocheting.
Wow, I love it. We are getting close to the end. This hour does go really quick. And I also am not touching my internet. But I do want to talk a few things about the giveaway that you're doing. The giveaway is for a signed paperback. Which book is it you're going to give away?
Sharp as a Serpent's Tooth.
Okay, you're going to give a signed paperback to one of our live viewers that are here watching us this evening. And I always ask the author if you'd like to pick the winner or if you want me to. It's entirely up to you.
I'll let you. I hate doing that. Like, I end up letting one of my dogs pick.
That's fine, because we have viewers watching us on the author page, and we have viewers watching us in my group and on YouTube. So I'll go to all and see who's watching us live, and I'll pick from one of those spots. Also, one of the live viewers is going to get, see, I call it a Cuppa A Natter for a reason, because I'm British, and we love our cup of tea every single day. This is what I'm drinking every single day is my cup of tea. And a natter in England means chat. It means a lot of chat. So in England, you sit down and you have a cuppa and a natter. You have a cup of tea and you chat with your mate. And that's why I call it a cuppa and a natter. So what I'm doing now in the live chats is I'm giving somebody here tonight a box of the Yorkshire tea, which is what I drink. I love Yorkshire tea. Bambi was our winner last week. In fact, Bambi was here. I wanted to know if she liked the tea. But it's the only tea I drink. So someone's going to get a box of that from me. It will be gifted. I'll send it as a gift through some site. So it'll come to me as a gift. And then the other thing is if I'm giving away a $5 Amazon gift card to one person, what you need to do is you go to my author page and share this chat. Just share it to your friends and tag me if you share it. And whoever shares the video from my author page, you can't share it from the group because it's private. But if you share it from your author page, you're in the drawing for a $5 Amazon gift card. Get the word out. Unfortunately, we didn't.
That is brilliant.
My only beef tonight is the internet. I'm sorry about, leaving you a couple of times. But it is some of the things that happens when we go live. It's frustrating for me because it's just like, come on, But I had so much fun talking to you. I really enjoy talking to you. If you have chance, could you go through the comments on the group and on my author page, and the questions that we've missed, if you wouldn't mind just leaving a comment or answering a question. I'm trying to get to as many as I can, but I know I've missed a few, especially with being cut out and getting kicked off the internet. It's like, come on. But I want to thank everyone for being here. It's been a lot of fun. Mandy, you're brilliant. I love you. I love your covers. I'm going to read your books.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. This has been so much fun.
Oh, I'm thrilled to have you. And when you get that next book written, I'll have you again. Okay. And I will tag you when I announce the winner in a couple of hours.
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay. So everyone, thank you so much. And hopefully, one more thing before we go. You stay, yeah. The other thing I wanted to say too is I started another kind of chat, and it's called a Cuppa A Natter with readers. And I'm actually having readers come live with me I'm trying to do it twice a month, but it might just be once a month. But when you come and chat with me live, it's only for 30 minutes. I'm not going to have them, be for a whole hour. But 30 minutes, you'll get a choice of a free paperback, and we chit chat. I did one last week with Diane Wright, the first one I did, and it was a lot of fun. And next Monday, Virgie Lane will be joining me. She's my next reader that's going to be my guest for 30 minutes. It's going to be, I think, at 4 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. But look for the post in the group when I'm getting ready to do a chat with a reader. I'm just going to post it, and I'll tag some people that said they want to join me, and we'll do it that way. I'll be just posting in the group looking for readers. But yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. This way I get to meet readers too.
That is fun. You are so smart. You are so smart.
But I'm looking forward to chatting with Virgie Lane next Monday. So if you're around next Monday, come join us.
Yeah, I'd love to. Yeah, I'd love to.
I'll be posting on the group and on my author page, so look for it. And I'm looking forward to it. All right, guys. I will talk to you soon. You can stay
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.